Hey everybody, how's your weekend going? My weekend started this morning, so probably not very well. My hair decided to take a real fun trip down I don't know what lane. Hope y'all are doing better. You got the wicked lady hippie at the bar? My bar, my rules. Meaning it's a hippie, there's not a hell of a lot of those. Nothing is off the table technically. But we hippies do like manners. Just saying. Y'all so sweet. I'm gonna throw some live chat in up here for us. It's a little bit of background. I'll throw that in there just in case y'all want to know or hadn't been here before. Bless your hearts. Here we go. It's my channel, my thing, my bar, my thing. I don't care. This is live. I really don't edit. I found that I understood what the Hollywood elites were saying when they said, no, I didn't see the movie. You throw yourself up on a 72-inch screen, it scared the piss out of me. I was like, oh my God, who did my hair? Was that makeup or, somebody pouring concrete for, what? So yeah, that first year I was up, down, over here, around there. I used to be talking from about here. I have to run all of it. And today I'm having one of those good days because the husband isn't here. And since it's a bar, I have a good time, whether he stays here or not. I use this thing more than he does, except for when anybody's around because I don't want to be anywhere near the equipment. So then I'm shuffling from, well, one thing to another, shall we say. So I'm having one of those hair days. Here it is in Augusta, Georgia. I'm an Army veteran, published author, and that's probably all the shit you need to know, really. I don't usually drop videos because I figure everybody saw them 100 times, and if they didn't, throw it in the comments, live chat. I'd be happy to drop that in there if that's what you want to talk about. I think it's because I'm a published author, and it feels like plagiarism to me to go in and get other people's videos, because I've seen it 100 times too. Just, what did they? So, I never know which way I'm going to frog. So, like I said, yeah, buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy day. Here in Augusta, we've got the remnants of the first named tropical storm of the year. I can't remember what. I think it was Arthur. I don't know. Something along that line. It's an A. So we got tons of rain and we got tons of humidity. Most of us, our hair does not like humidity, and mine has decided it's trying to escape its confines as well. So bear with me. It's just like a little loop up here. It's going to bug. So like I said, I don't really drop videos. It's live. If you want to talk about something, you want to see something, let me know, pop through. I do tend to jump wherever my seriously ill mind goes. One of these days, I'm going to get one of those jackets that make you hug yourself. Yeah, good things. I am sorry. I should apologize. I'm wearing the same one piece of jewelry that I wore, I think, on Wednesday of this week. My husband just gifted it to me, and this is only the second time I've worn it. I had to run around town and do all of that, and 15 women wanted to know where it came from, and I couldn't tell them because it was a gift. He never tells me where he gets them. It's a beautiful piece of turquoise and silver or jewelry. It's lovely. He's Native American, full Creek Nation, and I'm a British descendant, full British. There's just no way around that. The red hair, hazel eyes, kind of that giveaway, yeah. So no dilution in there. That's another story. I really should write another book. In any event, I'm doing this. I'm just, as you can tell, an amateur. I have no idea what is actually going on, but I'm hoping that at some point I get other hippies that go, hey, she's got a point. This is free. We can get up there ourselves. We don't have to go on her channel or what have you. But Hippies Unite, we used to always sit around in the same circle it did on the 70s show and pass one or five around. How many of us were there? And what was happening in our lives at the time. But everybody, of course, did this. We all talked like that. It was before you had phones that went with you. It was back when a long distance call, in my case, literally was across the street to my sister-in-law's house here in Georgia. Don't get me started. But yeah, we used to have to pay long distance if we called his sister across the. We used to go to the front yard and just holler for her. You can't make this shit up. I had never been to Georgia, and then I was adopted. I was in the Parade magazine, and the family found this. My sister and I through this. They made one phone call to a bullock, and that was my brother Charles. And then they found more information, like through my military records, and all this stuff. Not much, but enough for them to say, okay, this is who they are. We were missing apparently the mother had actually signed the adoption papers, but somehow we were missing. So I'm not sure how that worked out for her. I did meet her a couple of times. I took her a Mother's Day present a couple of times. She wasn't happy. I actually have a friend. Yeah, I have one. And she said, "You're always so bubbly." And I was like, "Is that a good thing?" The way she said that, it was like, "You always have, some disease or something." Just, it's like, huh? Maybe I should be more severe. I'm not a severe person, really. Maybe when I'm running a business or whatever, yeah, I would be. I think I used to store it up all day, and then it kind of just boiled over after lunch. So, mind you, I used to go to the Watergate Hotel when I was in D.C., and we called it the Two Martini Italian lunch. Yeah, then they came after us again when we were old. That just was not fair. We needed those things to keep going. I don't know why they put a lockdown on Xanax. Nobody was shooting anybody. Oh, it's a bar. I like whiskey if I'm going to drink. My husband gets me these little airplane bottles because I just adore them, and he gets a whole bucket of them. And they're whiskey fireballs, and they have this burst of cinnamon. And I do like my whiskey on the rocks, and most of the time, rather than just the ice, I throw a little OJ in there, just spice it up a little bit, make it more palatable. Otherwise, I'm just doing shots, and I've done that. But I still put the ice in there. People thought I was drinking like 40 bottles because the ice would melt. I'm still throwing these back. Same thing happens with this, kind of, sort of. Oh, it's a race to beat the ice, and that's my Scottish clan, whatever they want to call those. In any event, yeah, I actually found out that too, which was absolutely annoying because when I was in Europe, I had no idea. Could have went to see people. So I have had one of those lives, and if I didn't make fun of it, I'd have already shot myself or probably 5 other people. Yeah, just send the black helicopters. I get bored, idiots. Who out here wants to talk about politics? Yeah, good. Me either. Other than to say, I think the world collectively has lost its mind over Trump. I don't know how that man could be so evil unless he was Satan himself, and he's not, because he took credit for that. Don't get me wrong, Donnie. I just think he's funny as hell. And I call him Donnie. If he could call Kid Rock Bob, he's Donnie. I'm good with that. It's like Gator Gitmo. I think they called it alligator something, but I call it Gator Gitmo down in Florida. That's awesome. That's mine. Don't steal that. I'm old. Give me a break. Do not make money doing this. Not averse to making money. I'm just not that good. I don't really know why I get up here, except to say that, again, I would like to see my generation kind of come back to the table and say, what the fuck all is going on? They're going to blame us. And I'm like, I don't get it, because they skip my generation as far as politically. Most of them. I think there are a few governors that might have been my age, but most of them turned this age when they was in the Senate or the House. They spent 45, 50 years there like old Joe, weekend at Joe's for 40. He was out doing Bernie. So, yeah, I think it was funny as hell when he would get lost looking for a chair. There was no chair. He's on a lawn. It's not a chair for 4 miles. He's looking for one behind. Poor man. I used to get so angry, really, though, at his wife and children, that they would trot him out like that. He should never have been. I don't believe he actually won, but that's another story, too. You can't write a book for everything, So, like I said, my mind will go. Dip, dip, dip. So it's like a skipping stone. If you want to pop through here, good luck. I would love to talk to y'all. Don't get me wrong. I'm just like, so yeah. You'd think I had good drugs, not so much. Want some, but no. I think it's wild how I'm a 70s kid, no doubt. Well, 60s, 70s. Yeah, that dates me. I'm like, so what? I make this shit look good. Get over it. So, yeah, I'm a hippie. When we grew up, you had play clothes, you had school clothes. We weren't even allowed to wear pants to school as females until the 8th grade. And mind you, you try walking through 4 feet of snow at minus 20 degrees. No, we did not get snow days in Chicago. No, we got a shovel. Ice skates. We did not get snow days. Now, if you get them here in Augusta, Georgia, or really anywhere in Georgia, you might go to the north, get them a little more in the mountains, but anywhere in Georgia that I've been, which is mainly middle and down south, over here now in Augusta, for 15 years, as long as I've lived anywhere, is here. Don't ask why, it's just I am, and I'm same exit as the base, and I always am. It just turns out that way. It's very strange to me because when I look back, I went, I live next to the base here. Yeah, over here too. And then, so yeah, the Army really was a mess for me. My actual company of women had enlisted in the Women's Auxiliary Corps, the WACs. And we left on a plane to go to Alabama to Fort McClellan for WAC training, which was basically nothing. And you brought everything they told you to bring. And especially, I guess, the tennis shoes. However, that's not turned out. It turned out that we landed in South Carolina and we were going to Fort Jackson. And we were training now with the men. And we were the first cycle of women, first company of women to train with the men and be regular Army. And they said, it's not y'all's fault because y'all didn't know. So we're going to let y'all go. If you want to go, we'll send you back. And we will hold it against you kind of thing, And not one of us turned that down. I mean, actually, we all turned that down. We didn't take it. And it was interesting. I ended up with the nickname of Wicked. I went in with actual rank. My parents had signed for me to go in. I was 17. But at 9 years old, I was reading college level and doing all that. So I was in a hurry. I don't know why, but I was in a hurry. So, yeah, they called me Wicked. And that's still my nickname today. I am not sure how the hell that happened because, like I said, technology hadn't really caught up with everybody like it does now. It's amazing to me. This is why I get up here going, come on. This might get shut down at any point in time. I've seen the Britons are arresting folk for what they put on Facebook. And I'm thinking, really? I know they don't have a freedom of speech thing there. I'm just glad I got back here before that started happening. It's a little Orwellian for me. Used to talk about that book, mind you, and that was still in the future. And that's why I said nowadays I don't think my generation is going to get blamed. I don't think we had a lot to do with it because there's people, like I said, that stayed there from their 40s to their almost 90s. And my generation did not go because we hippies kept saying, oh, fuck that. No. Some reason these people goes out being stayed for 40 years. I do not want to find out. I have been to D.C. I have worked in D.C. I've lived in Maryland, worked in D.C. Yeah. I got tired. I went back to Texas. I moved back to Texas like 7 times. San Antonio, always San Antonio. My first duty station was Fort Sam Houston, right there in San Antonio. And I have a step grandson. I have 3 step grandchildren. And my step grandson had heard my stories. They would ask me, and I would tell them this, that, or the other. Same with my grandson. He's now an Army veteran as well. He said, Grandma shouldn't be the only one to wear Army boots. I was in peacetime. The only time there was actual peace in the 20th and 21st century was when I was serving. God likes me. So I thought about recently, I was just thinking about my grandson. He went to Korea and he got back and he stayed out. I don't blame him. He's been back since the pandemic was almost here. He just flew in right ahead of it. And he stayed with us. We turned the 2 bedrooms upstairs into mini apartments because everybody had to kind of stay away. I love that. I had to go near nobody. My grandson says, you don't like people, Grandma. I said, I like people. Just not all of them. Or very many of them. And so, yes, that's popping through again. This is why hippies should come out here. We should talk. Because surely I'm not the only one that's going, they're going to blame us. We were not there. We were still working 2 jobs and raising a kid. His stepkids and you name it. My husband and I have been together for decades, just decades. Poor man. Even I feel sorry for him. He will not come on. He does not watch. None of my friends or family, I've 1 or 2 that might. Well, 2. There's maybe 3. They're the subscribers that know me. Not very many. None of my actual family. The last remaining member of my family, even though they found me and there was 2 stepbrothers or half brothers and their families. and their families are married into my my half brother was married to my husband's sister, and it was his sister who reached out and found myself and my sister through the Braid magazine article that she found when the biological mother got a brain tumor. Yeah, it's one of the. Maybe I should write a book. Any questions yet? This is why I get good stuff in the mail, though. In the early 70s, that stuff was not illegal. And by the 90s, I mean, you could look at it and they would lock you up. If you smelled like it, 14 dogs were let loose. Get them. And now they mail it to your house. So I thought you get to where I go, oh, okay, I've seen everything. It absolutely have not reached that point yet. I never saw it to get this old. I never thought I'd get to the 21st century. Not alive, anyway. Sure enough, I'm parked here now. And we're a quarter century into the new year. I had to quit smoking 5-6 years back. My husband lets me have these little cigarillos. One of my friends here at the bar had one. And I had to have it because I used to smoke it when I was in Europe. We used to sell them on our girls, so you didn't smoke those. Another book. So my husband lets me have these when I'm up here. And it's the only concession that I made. I quit vaping because he was a little worried, and my son was a lot worried, and just, so yeah, I had to quit everything. So I went like this for a while. I was just a mess. It was not a good thing to have me quit that stuff. It really wasn't. I'm going to chase that with a little bit of mimosa. I did catch, thinking politically here, my mind was running. So was my mouth. But I happened to catch, I hate the View. I have never seen a more racist group of women in my life. In my life. Now they're out there screaming for Iran and so forth and so on. These girls walk around with these letterbox holes and these black tents that make them look like their cousin It's in black. Just running around like, it's fucking spooky. But that's what they have to do because they'll kill them. The problem with them actually getting pissed off at you and grabbing you to put you in jail is the fact that virgins can get into heaven. But if they're not a virgin, females, of course, I'm assuming, apparently the females are not virgins, they don't get into heaven. So they tend to want to rape all the women. And yet these people are, this body of racist, and you can call them anything you want, so can I, because that's America. And they're up there going, yeah, we shouldn't be in there. Well, probably shouldn't be in there, don't want to be in there. Do you want to look at a rocket coming down the freaking pikeway with a fucking nuke on it? I'll bet you don't. Yeah, there's a little bit of Army shows up, what can I tell you? Actually, they're much better now than my drill sergeant. One of the reasons I got that in Wicked and so fast, besides having rank, when you're in boot camp, everybody else was a trainee. I had a title. That's all I like to say. So these guys were Vietnam Airborne Rangers that were our drill sergeants and our COs and our lieutenants and stuff. They were all Vietnam. I think to a person that I ever saw, and you had to run everywhere. It was fun. And I thought I was ready for that. I was gymnast, ice skater, took karate lessons since I was 7 or 8, fencer, gymnast, all these things. And I did push-ups, sit-ups, all that stuff anyway. And my eyes, actually my entire face hurt till 94 because it was the only part of me that could still work well. Got a lot of overtime going, ow. You'd wake up and go, oh, my toenails hurt. I didn't even notice toenails. We had a good time with that. We really did. I couldn't believe we made it either. And they didn't take it easy on us. And they told us that after we got through with everything and everybody got to know where they were going for their first duty station. And we were all at the bowling alley because it was the only thing open on Sunday with beer. So everybody has the bowling alley. And they saw us in there. And they came and talked to all of us, we figured y'all would make it. We're like, what the? We knew when they said that, it was on. Yeah. You mean to tell me I didn't have it? What? But they were right to do it the way they did. We came out just perfect. The men treated us as sisters, wives, mothers, what have you, and all due respect. If we needed a hand, we could ask one of the boys could ask the girls, because you was all green. This is the thing I also never understood about racism, even though I was talking about the view and they make it obvious. It was the fact that as a hippie, I have never been a racist, never understood a racist. It's not like when you're bleeding to death, you go, hey, I want that stuff over there that's from Irish people. You just don't do that. You just go, hey, no. You don't care. But it's a different thing when, like, you put people like The View together who attack J.D. Vance, the vice president. Now, ladies, you want due circumstance. You want due reference. You want everybody to just be kind to you and sweet to you and respectful to you. Well, you might chew down on that bone that you call respect because you didn't give none to the vice president. You know, it's just shame. Just shame. Hang your heads. Just shame. That's what you represent. If nothing else, you represent women. And this is another reason I just said what I did about The View. It's not just that. It's they did take Iran as well, with the women, being cousinets running around. They have no problem with that. They had a problem with us going in and going, you can't use those nukes for that. That's the problem they had. Now, mind you, it kind of hit me a little bit off center too, when they said they was going in after they took out the facilities, supposedly. But again, there could have been more than one facility. These guys have they have a big country. It's not small. It used to be Persia. They changed the name. Yeah, Iraq was Babylon. Iran was Persia. Look it up. You guys have to go. I used to have to go find a dictionary and 4 encyclopedias. I love tablets and shit. I just, I got to where I hated technology because every 6 months I had to go back in and learn something so I could do a job, which was mainly answering a fucking phone. So, IT, my ass. Did you unplug it and plug it back in? That was IT in the 90s. There's a show about it in Britain. I think it's called that, the It or something, the IT. You'll see me do that because it goes out when I'm talking. And my husband knows that's what I do up here is talk and get rid of a little extra stream 3 times a week. And I'm not smoking 3 packs of cigarettes. I might have 1 or 2 of these during the week. And it's a smart decision, I gotta say. He made a good decision. He did. He puts up with a lot, that boy. So, can't you tell? Yes, I decided I would add my second one because I'm eating up time here. Again, I do not actually edit if I can get away with it. And if they won't put it on or something, one time I had played over radio, and who knew? It's on the radio. So I figured, okay, that's fine. It's fine. Apparently it's not for you to actually, this is another thing I don't understand about, you can pop a video in, but if you're listening to a radio in the background, they go, oh no, we can hear that sound. You got to take that out. I'm like, what the? That's why I say that a lot. I do. Our bar is big. He went to go buy a small bar. When he got there, it was a $7 million home, and you can figure out the rest. This is a Remington bar. It's got the big mirror and drawers and everything on the other side. So we redid the entire first floor to accommodate this. And you can kind of see behind me, things are like off kilter and stuff. That's because I just haven't got hardly on my legs this morning. Although, ladies, I had the cutest pair of shoes I just got. They look to me like they're almost the old 70s stuff. They're the chunky block heel, and they're black velvet, and they have cutouts and little they call those little things, I don't know, they look like diamonds, but they're not. Zirconias. I don't even think it's that. I think it's a little, crystal, white crystal, whatever, but the cutest shit. And I get these things for free. The dress I'm wearing is so forth, free, you can see. It's white and black skirt that goes down to almost to the floor. I prefer those since I had such a bad accident. It's easier for me than pants or jeans. God forbid, with these skinny jeans. It's just pulling it off the nail. Okay. Yes, I have more metal in me than most cars today. Yeah, I go past the airport going to the VA, and whistles and bells go off and lights start flashing, and I'm like, hey, it's just me. I'm not actually coming in. Going a little further. I've been like, oh shit. I haven't flown, of course, since the accident. I'm not even going to try because there's no way I'm going to pass the wanding and the surge test. I'm not going through that shit. I'd rather drive, get on a plane. No. And not to mention, the last time I flew, it was already like this. And I was not as big as I am now. Now, maybe that's not big, big, but it's big for me. But, you're still sitting like this. And I had burly firemen that were seated all around me, and I'm in the middle one. But we were all buying each other a drink. We had a good time. I love firemen. We used to teach your paramedics back in the 70s. They didn't have, well, I call them ambulance drivers because with my horrible accident that I had, they didn't secure anything, any of the broken bones. They didn't secure anything. They took a sheet and put it under me, jerked it up, and slammed it on the gurney after walking me to the gurney outside. Yeah, I screamed my head off the whole time. I mean, it was like, kill me now. It was bad. And then at the hospital, they did it. And it was the higher priced hospital. Instead of taking me to the VA, they took me to, well, another hospital. And the doctor who's ordering the x-rays, portable x-ray, it's in the ER, and they took a portable right there. I didn't have to go anywhere else. She reaches down and grabs one of my legs. It's actually got break in 3 places. The ankle's pretty much detached and all that. She grabs it right in one, it had to be the worst spot you could grab that on, and tried to lift my leg. And I tried to kill her. I think they did give me some shit to shut up. I was trying to kill her. I couldn't get off the bed. She ran. I told her, I was like, don't let me get up. Come back here, do that again. I'm looking for a phone, anything. I need a weapon in here. Meanwhile, the guys that had brought me in, which I got on this topic about with paramedics, were still there. They stayed until I had almost left. And they were terrible. It took an hour. They waited before they even tried to transport me. They had some guy come in that could administer a pain-killing drug. I think they said it was fentanyl, but I'm not sure. He said, I'm going to give you this much now. I'm going to get you in the ambulance. I'm going to give you some more. And I was like, I'll try not to kill you now. I've been laying like everywhere, I'm like, I can't move. And like I said, nothing was secure. And the first thing we would have done when I was training firemen back in the 70s would be, you set and stabilize areas that are probably broke, which you can actually tell are broke. You kind of want to hold those in place kind of thing. Oh, no, honey. All they did was set up that little IV. And I mean a little IV, just, where he shot it. I was like, wait, you can just put the shot in. Because he's trying to find a vein. And I'm like, we taught the paramedics to do quite a few things, including nowadays you've got a defib everywhere. I don't know what they call it. I've always called it a defibrillator. So you can do all that stuff now. Back in the day, you couldn't. There was a show called Emergency, and I kept talking about it all throughout my years because I saw, like, with my own problem, first time I ever, in years anyway, decades, needed a paramedic, did not get one. Although I think that's what the boy who showed up with the meds was. I'm not sure because they had moved me. I mean, he literally set it up and then it gave me the shot, and it was that fast. I mean, like 30 seconds later, they were slamming. I was like, could you let this shit? I think they say because I thought I was funny. I was trying to hurt everybody. It was probably funny because I couldn't really move very well, but I was giving it my best shot. Oh, well, that's good. That little bit of cinnamon comes out. I need that once in a while. Just slap me. No, not really. Not. Just saying. So we've gone through political thing. We've gone through my background, which admittedly could be funny. I really should write another book. I just don't feel up to it. It's just to do your editing alone on a book takes 6 months. I hear these people like Professor Victor Davis Hanson, and if you get a chance, look him up. He's wonderfully intelligent, wise. He's like a sage. This guy does not need a tablet, phone, nothing. He's got it here. And this is what I've been used to is up here. In particular, sometimes that stuff don't work. So this generally still works. It depends. Like me, yeah. And mine works when I want it to, but not probably as well as I would like it to, or I think it is. So we've gone through all of that stuff. Ladies, which I was addressing with the shoes. Sorry, guys. Guys just faded right out there, didn't you? I don't blame you. I used to go, did these women ever get out of their county? And I know some that never did. They're all related to my husband. He's still got family that's alive. I don't, neither adopted nor biological. They all gone. So I've been having a good time in the past decade or so. Don't take me wrong. I'm just saying. I haven't been able to travel, and it's a lot worse on me now than it could have been before, which I jokingly said about the airplane. I have no idea how bad I would feel if I was in a plane with all this stuff in it. I'm thinking, at my age, I'm good. I can stand up and unaided. And after a year or so of not being able to do that, they cracked me up too. They said, "We got good news. You can wear shoes, and we're cutting you loose." I was like, "Okay." But then I had to go to the VA for like 8 months for physical therapy. That was always fun. He always found a new machine. That man, he drove me to drink, literally, and he was fun. They're all fun. I love the VA. It's old homes week. I mean, again, I don't understand racism, but I see it exhibited a lot. I hear people, Tyrus. I love Tyrus. Gut fella, love you, babe. He's one of the ones I think, and there's many that have said the same thing. Why is there a Black History Month? There's not an Irish History Month. There's not an Italian History Month. There's not a Mexican History Month unless they've added it. We're all like, okay, that's not racist? Yeah, a little bit. In today's society. Now, that might have been different when it started, although I don't think so. You're still singling out one particular race. They're not race. They're people. They're humans. They're Americans. If you got to put a label. Now, this other thing that, they're this color or that. All the colors are in the same crayon box. They're all in there. All of them. Even the broken ones like me, they're all up in there. So what's up with the color thing? It's hard enough to go, okay, they're German, they're this, or. I think President Reagan said it well when he said, I wonder if we would have less racism if humans had an enemy that was not from this planet, but was from somewhere else. Then we might not distinguish ourselves as anything but earthlings or humans. And I've paraphrased that probably badly, don't hold me to it. But you get my drift. I'm like, there's just no need for that. In the 21st century, you need to identify. I don't care what you identify. It's none of mine. I don't care if you go to the moon and back because you want to paint it purple. Good on you. I'm not going to follow you, but I'm not going to stop you. I'm not going to judge you for doing it. That's why we call it America. It used to be forgotten. The other thing I haven't figured out, I'm back to politics again. I just circled that wagon, didn't I? The other thing I haven't been figuring out is these damn cities that are called sanctuary cities. So any drug cartel, murdering bastard, and whatever you can find, and then Minnesota is one other ballgame entirely with all the billions they stole. It's just, what? And nobody has gone to jail. Now, I don't know if y'all remember your history very well, and I haven't seen hardly any education system in Georgia. My poor son, when I brought him down here, I had let him out of high school and let him take a GED because it was terrible. The boy was just bored stupid. He had been a classical violinist when I moved him here. They didn't even have music classes. So, yeah, that blew us away, and we couldn't even find anybody to hire. So he had to give that up, and he was very good. He had actually played solo many times at his school and around, and it was heartbreaking for him. And he wasn't very old; he was just starting high school, but still, And we had relocated because we were getting custody of his daughter, my husband's daughter, here in Georgia, and you couldn't argue that because her mom's in Georgia; she's not in Texas, and her mom just. Some of these women I've met in Georgia, I don't mean to cast aspersions, but I met a lot of them. And many of them didn't work or don't work or just didn't work. And I went stupid when I wasn't at work. Really, I did. And these ladies, that's what they talked about, was whatever dress, whatever shoes. And that's what I was circling back to. It's like, oh God, I was actually talking about jewelry and shoes on the show. So some of the men left. Hey, I've talked about the view, and that sent another 80% out the doorway, I think. I don't know how they have views. I really don't. I wouldn't have spoken on this so many times, I think, but it's actually bothered me, so it's stuck up here. To dish the VP like that. I'm like, again, military training and all that. My adopted father, was World War II Navy. You still respect the commander in chief. You still respect the president, the office that they hold. Irregardless, you can talk a blue streak, but you didn't go on the air and say this kind of thing and that kind of thing and make it up and get away with it for a decade. The man's had like 4 assassination attempts. They tried to keep him off ballot. They stole the election. They did all kinds of crap, and this is proven beyond a shadow of a doubt. There's a couple of them. Robert Gaveris, I think it's Gaveris, is one of the ones I like to watch. Watching the Watchers. I like some of the podcasts that we have, and that was another reason I said I'd like to try to do this, because Shay and a few others, Joe Rogan. Anybody, news radio, right? Love the chair one. Love just souping up the chair. Terrible what happened there. God bless. Things like that. So I was like, I got to try this. Because I didn't hear anybody calling out the hippies. And the hippies have taken first a couple of times, but we took a back seat a lot of the time. And I saw this being in the background in civil service and military. I saw that a lot of the time, my generation, if you want to say hippie, was taking a back seat. And again, the technology evolved so fast, just boom, boom, boom. And you didn't have time to go, okay, I know what AOL is or what have you, because you're coming from a word processor or a typewriter. You're like, is this bitch talking to me? There's something, I'll tell you. If we got through that shit, I don't know how. I thought I was confused. I was confused for most of the 20th and 21st centuries. And I've been retired a few years now. I think this is the 3rd year. Loving it. Oh. God, that's good. Sorry, I wish you were here. Again, Augusta, Georgia, if you'd like to stop in, if you're in the neighborhood, you live here, get in the live chat, put in the comments. They like that. These algorithm things, yeah. I don't care. I think this is going to be up there. Yeah, they may take it down someday, but it's there. It's kind of like Facebook when they started me on that. My son did that. And of course, my nickname was put in the address. So that was helpful. Yeah. Said nobody ever. And I was so new to that particular thing that as soon as I moved here, my son is one exit away from us. And we bought their starter home because they wanted to buy a newly made home in a subdivision that was becoming another tiny city off Grovetown, like it is for, say, Leon Valley for San Antonio, one of these side cities, as I call them. Which is, it brings me back again. I was talking about, that's what I didn't like about we're not paying attention to federal law and shit. And when I mentioned history, I was like, I forgot to remind me that Fort Sumter fired like a cannonball shot. And Lincoln called the Civil War, okay? One shot, we were at war. These guys, there's how many states? These are not little states. California, Illinois, these aren't little states. And these people can run, they can get it. Well, they was letting them in willy-nilly. Do you think that really the good guys came? Y'all want to still argue about the immigration thing. Do you think the good guys came? No, they didn't. The good guys had jobs and shit. They were happy. They wasn't going nowhere. No, it's the people didn't have jobs. They came here for the money. They came here. And if you didn't, they weren't on the dole, so to speak. They just robbed us, whatever they wanted to do. And the havoc that created, especially in Texas, I was tore up about Texas. I still am, because I won't never live there again. And for many reasons, but mainly because it was just slapped to bits. Because that was that in California was one of the main corridors that you had. You got to put 40-odd million people somewhere. I know they're saying like 12 million. No, you can triple the amount that they tell you, because that's the facts. Because I was living there when we didn't have that, but you didn't have a wall, and they just assimilated millions of people in those 2 states. And then they had plenty of revenue from those people. Well, now the other people are leaving, like Joe Rogan and others who have moved from California or New York to Texas, not Georgia, Florida. It's the other one that people like going to. Sorry. I'm, I'm playing with my touch screen, so you'll probably get dizzy. And I think that's my husband. It is. I tell him I go on, but he don't listen. Hello, darling. I'm on the air. What is it? I will. I'll give it a few more minutes and I'll wrap. Bye. He has a package coming. He got a package coming when he bought me this. I was like, who are you? And it's my husband eating. For real? There's no birthday. There's that came with a bracelet, earrings. I actually I put on my sapphire diamond drops today. I thought it would actually better with what I was wearing. And went with black and silver, black and gold, turquoise and silver. It's hard to pull all that together. It's like bling, bling, bling. I like that. Kind of a little bling at the waist and the belt. And this it goes through white at the waist and goes down. And it's got little black roses all. It's really cute. I love these. And you do the little thing is like a Lucy skirt. So poodle skirt, those are great. I love these things. I redid my entire wardrobe and I was still in bed. So I could go like 6 feet. That was it. Mind you, when you've gotten hurt somewhere in your life, maybe when you were 20 or 30 even, and you were fine, you had a pair of crutches, you got around just fine. It was annoying, but you got around. That's not what happens when you're my age and you cannot put any weight on particular parts, and in particular my right side. And so even getting to use the crutches were extremely painful. And they told you could take extra strength Tylenol, that would work. And I kept wanting to hit him in the head with a hammer and give him a Tylenol. But we went with that. They are not good with pain management at all. I can't take Tylenol for a fucking headache. I mean, I'm just saying. Like, do they pay you to say that stupidity? I was just like, what? And he just say that? I'm all busted up. And you're trying to think, where is he coming from? And I mean, seriously, at one train wreck, does he go, they're good. You can go ahead and do the surgeries. You can go ahead and put all that metal in here and over there and over here. She'll be fine. Give her Tylenol. It's just, they frown on that kind of behavior. So I didn't get to bitch slap anybody, but I bitch stored it up. Somebody going to cross my invisible line. You know, like, okay, we're good. When you get to be, I didn't think that was true when I was younger. And the older I've become, and I've gotten there really well, thank you, though. It's the fact that time condenses. It's suddenly, I have 25 years behind me. I did not remember. I can tell you in 1999 what I was wearing. In 2026, I can only tell you I changed my wardrobe a year or so ago when I couldn't get out of bed, couldn't use crutches more than 6 foot. Because again, like I was saying, when you're older and you haven't used them on one leg or even hopping to get, you know, it was bad. Somebody tried to carry you, and yeah. After the first 3 or 4 months, it was easier for me to get about because it was just the right side, but even it was terrible. So I was literally bedbound and stubborn because, you know, I'm going to use the bath. Didn't matter how much pain I was in. You still had to get a bath. You still had to get dressed. You still had to put your hair done, your makeup done. I had to do all that. Yeah, I know it's silly. It's really silly. And I didn't see anybody. It wasn't like everybody that knows me knows when I don't feel well, don't come to my house. I didn't want to see you. Anybody that knows me, grandkids, whoever, my son, they know if mom doesn't feel well, do not call. Do not knock on the door. She will probably be leveling a pistol at you. I'm rather mean like that. Well, that's good. My husband's in Atlanta. So let me just go ahead. Yeah, baby. I know he's got a package coming. He told me that before he left. But apparently he did get a message that said, that package is on its way. I can't stand it. But I'm going to have to run out there and get it because I got this Wednesday, Tuesday. It must have been Wednesday because I remember a word on the show. And it's really quite, I don't usually wear chunky jewelry. And lately, that's the other thing I've seen too. I started to wear chunky jewelry, almost always with a brooch, almost always. And like I was saying, the men's eyes glazed over, ladies. That year or so that I was in the bed, I changed everything because I could not get in and out of pants. Just could not do it. There was just, thank God I had, amen. I had a bunch of clothes. I've always had a lot of clothes anyway. Well, since my 30s, I was always in a uniform or a suit up until well, yeah. So, yeah, I was a waitress at the Last Supper. Get over it. I do make this look good, don't you? Thank you, Dad. Now I'm looking at I've got a little clock. Y'all probably wondering why I keep looking at the corner there. I'm not reading this, although I'd probably be better if I were. I'm not. It's telling me I got about 15 minutes to jerk everybody's chains. Like I said, it goes out. So pardon me. I end up talking to you guys about myself and my clothes and stuff more than I do anything else because I just jump, and I'm drinking. The South has moved into the North. Sometimes you can hear there's like that Northern accent, and I'm usually cussing up a storm. I always say that's the Army in me, but it's tinged with a little Chicago. Even the way I say Chicago. Yeah, and my lips are bugging me, something terrible. I hate that. Here in Georgia, that's better. It's a good lip balm. In any event, yeah, you get dried out up here, and I'm not sure why. I'm allergic to almost all flora and fauna in Georgia, so that's been fun because we stayed because our children are here, even though they're grown, even though their kids are grown, with both grandsons on either side, my husband's grandson, my step grandson, and my grandson, which my husband and my grandson refuse to say step. That's grandpa, and that's his grandson, and that's what they go by. But both grandchildren have. My step grandchild is in Korea right now, and he went to Fort Sam Houston, where I used to my first duty station, because he'd heard all the stories. So he went in as a medic because I used to train the medics, and and the paramedics at the time. They were just coming in. So LA started it first, and then it kind of came. I think it came down from Houston to us. But yeah, so that was so much fun, guys. It was. You say, yeah, can I go to the pool? They were like, yeah. So, and there was no just me. It was me and another instructor. But they, you taught CPR, you taught field aid, that was basically what you did. And, how to read the encephalocardiogram and do IVs. That was mainly what, and, just field medicine. Like you stabilize, transport, and, assess what they are. They, can't save them, might, could, good to go. In a nutshell, because that's how you have to do it. If you don't, then you're trying to save the one you know can't be saved. And the one that's next in line dies because you couldn't spend time to do them. So you have to make those hard decisions, and they are hard. And I went behind the scenes finally. I went back into secretarial mode because that stuff is a rough time to have and not to be involved. And I get too involved with people. And so I had to go behind the scenes, as I call it. But that is when I started teaching. So that worked out really well because I love doing that. And everybody passed on their first go. So, it was a great couple of year run. It really was. And then I left for Europe. So that was another good couple of years. My son was born in Heidelberg, Germany, and I lived outside the base because the base's apartments, you had like 8 bedrooms. No lie, I can't make this up. So these people had kids, and they had 2 or 3 kids. And I had, at the time I got there, I was pregnant, heavily pregnant, but I didn't have the baby yet. And so I was looking outside of the base to get a small house. And I did. I ended up at a cottage or a farm. Great couple. They loved our ice cream. You loved Jack Daniels. We got them Jack Daniels and Marlboro cigarettes. And we used to get them by the case, but you could only get so many per month. And so I smoked these because I'm selling them. And our jeans. They loved our jeans. And so, yeah, that's what I remember from Europe. No ice in anything. Didn't have ice, but they had great food. They had really great food. Even today, you've heard probably Robert Kennedy Jr. say this, that most countries will not import American food because of what whatever pesticides, so forth and so forth. And so they won't accept American produce. And that right there should give you like, you know, what? What the hell is in there? I used to work for I went to work with my former well, can't say step really. She was my former mother-in-law. And when I came back from Europe, I had my child and her son, and I were married. And we came there, and I worked at the agriculture building. She was top head of that department where we made the food stamp program become viable. You should have seen us when the first food stamps came out. It was the coupon. Like, like this. So, yeah. So I was in on a lot of firsts at the time because there was a lot of firsts in the 80s and 90s. Everything was a first. I remember seeing that they wanted everybody to go digital. I said, oh, God, here we go. Analog's out. And then I went and stopped myself. I was like, do you know what analog means? Wow. One of those colleges rubbed off. Oh, wow. See what I told you? It goes out. I think my husband calls me to do stuff like that just because he wants to know what I'm doing while he's gone. Yeah, ladies, this is what you get to look forward to. It's really cool, though, as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, I do this for fun. I don't really edit it. It's just what you get. When I'm up here and I'm live, I live chat. When I'm not, even when I'm on, you can do the comments. If you want to see something, talk about something, we can do the dual pitch in. Call me, baby. I'll talk to you. I serve you a drink. You want to pop around? It's legal. Got an ID to prove it. You don't need ID to vote, but you've got to have an ID to drink. I remember I was active duty at the time. I was 20 years old, and I flew in from Germany to see my father, who was ill, my adopted father. I flew into O'Hara, and my brother would have to drive 2 hours to get to me in O'Hara. And I'm usually at the bar. I'm 20. I'm in my Class A uniform. I'm in my uniform. And I come into the bar, and it's not like today you got the roll suitcase, you got all that. No, I had a freaking duffel bag, okay? Give me this and that, And there was a woman behind the bar, and she was like, I have to have an ID. And I was like, okay. And I whipped up, I didn't have a license. I didn't drive again until I was 35. It was always my Army ID, so I pulled that out. And she's like, well, you're a month or so from your birthday. Yeah. She fucking boy. I knew when she said that. I was like, oh, we're going to. And she did. And she got rather adamant about it. And I got rather adamant back because I was pissed. Because it's like a 15-and-a-half-hour flight from Germany. I've been up for 4 days. I'm running on caffeine, bitch. Get out of my way. And the manager came out here, overheard it. And I was like, okay, screw this. If I could take a bullet for my country, you'd think I could take a drink. But okay, bite me. And I'm going over here because there's 15 bars in O'Hara. And the manager comes out and she's right. If she can take a bullet for her country, she can have a drink. And she's like, we have to have ID. He said, that's fine. We ID'd her. And he went and gave me 2 drinks for free, put both of them up there. I was like, I like you. So I sat and talked to him till my brother got there an hour and a half later. I didn't pay for any drinks. I love people. I just do. When I'm there, I can't keep people. Well, my grandson's right about that. I have to take people in small doses because that's just better for them if they do it that way. This will turn out well for them if I don't. This is something else my grandson knows very well. Yeah, my family knows me well. They're only my immediate family. My son, my grandchildren, my step-grandchildren, my stepdaughter. My husband thinks he does, but not really. Husbands never really know, do they, girls? It could be the same way with us, actually. So it's probably a don't know thing, which I'm good with. I'm like, personally, if he could pick up after himself, he's like, what is that little Charlie character that always had the cloud of dust around him? I can't remember it, but that's what he reminds me of, Pigpen. I mean, he's always, it's like he has a separate thing that runs around with him that just fucks up everything. He's a clusterfuck. And then when he retired, we're both retired. He's older than I am, but not by a lot, but he's older than me. So he retired a few years before me. and started going to work in the yard. He became what he calls was it shade tree mechanic, something along that line. He put up his own building, so he's become a mechanic, and he opened a shop in the yard. I'm like, I knew the neighbors were not going to go for that. They didn't. Please come right up. But they have been back in a couple of years, and he never stopped. He never slowed down. All of the people that live in our subdivision have brought their vehicles to him at one point or another in the past few years. They needed brakes, oil changes, what have you. And they would bring him, his word of mouth would spread. He didn't charge exorbitant prices, and they could buy their own parts. And he would tell them ahead of time what it was, what they needed to buy, and how much he charged to do it, And they already knew in most cases it was like brakes, tires, whatever. But still, there's always a car in my yard. And I told him, I said, look, I won't put up with this, but you cannot have more than one car in the yard at a time. So he settled for 4 at a time. This is why I get migraines. It's probably why I get up here and talk to y'all and have a drink 3 times a week. Oh. He's high. That's so good when it gets down to the pretty. Alcohol doesn't float. This is also why I don't edit these, because I would probably just pull it. And I'm hoping out there somewhere there's somebody that sees this and says, well, she's not that damn funny, but she's got a point. Hippies unite. Let's talk about this shit. I know for a fact, now, people did not vote Nancy Pelosi into office until she was 95. Yet there she was. Chuck Schumer. I keep circling back to the politics, don't I? I still haven't got over how they treated the VP at the View. It's enough, right? They take that damn thing down. These people, they'll just start a podcast. No way, but who's watching these folks and going, they're right. I would like to meet some of y'all. Any of y'all that thought that they was right, please come on. Jump up here in live chat. Throw it in comments. I would like to know the other side of this, because I do not get how anybody can be vicious to a VP or a president or a vice president. In my generation, that wasn't done. My parents would have beat our ass. I mean, the hell? They were vicious. You didn't screw up when I was a kid. No. They told you, nah, you can't do that. Don't let them have to tell you twice. And if you step too far over the line to begin with on the first time, you was tapped. They didn't have to tell you, don't do that again. And I had adopted parents, okay? They were great all the time. But you did not step over that limit because you'd seen your older brother or younger sister do it, and you learned your lesson through them. Nowadays, like my kid, he didn't do that with his kid. Now, my grandson, he didn't do what I did and my son did with the baby thing. So he still hasn't married or had children. And every time I ask him about this, he says, I'm not having children. And I'm thinking, well, that's probably a good thing. Most women or even men would say, they want to be a grandparent. I'm good. That would be a great grandparent. I'm good. However you want to deal with that, that's, I'm down with that. But I see on my little clock over here, it's counting down. I enjoyed seeing everybody today, even if I don't know I saw you. And in the meantime, guys, I won't be back until Monday. So if you subscribe, you can unsubscribe in 2 seconds. It's free. And you'll know when I do pop in, because sometimes it's not when I'm supposed to. I'm a little goofy after a few drinks. So please come chat with me. Come talk to me. Tell me what you think. I mean, hippies unite, for God's sakes. The government doesn't need to take full control. There's a whole generation of us that ain't done any of that stuff. They can't blame us for that shit. That's the generation before us and the generation after us. We were the peacekeepers, right? All right. Peace out, babies.